there's a whole web of opportunities here that I really like, especially given the scale of the investment. Only 5 million. It's negligible compared to Palantir's $2 billion cash position. All right, welcome to the continuation of my series of looking at Palantir's investments. So far, I've done Cellularity and Faraday Future. To sum it up, I think Cellularity is a win. Faraday Future is an L. I wouldn't invest in it personally. Now, today, I'm going to look at Astrocast. Astrocast is a firm that's dedicated to providing, satellite connection or, connection to networks for remote areas around the world. So I'm not going to really try to explain Astrocast myself. I kind of touched on it, but I did watch a really good YouTube video by the CEO where he really elaborates and explains what Astrocast does. So, let's just get into that video. I have it right here, and let's get it going.
Hello, everyone. Space infrastructure is getting more and more critical to support the global operations of businesses around the world. At Astrocast, we operate a network of satellites, which is a game-changing infrastructure dedicated to the Internet of Things, or IoT. When we talk about IoT, we usually talk about terrestrial infrastructure like cellular or LP1 networks. These terrestrial networks cover only 10 to 50% of the globe, and this has always been a major issue for all the businesses that operate globally or in remote areas and cannot communicate with their assets. Business is global, but terrestrial connectivity will never be. So the only option you have to connect a device in a remote location is to use satellite communications. But so far, satellite communications have been way too expensive to really serve the global IoT market that is very cost sensitive. This is why we created the Astrocast network. Thousands of applications in remote areas can now benefit from a truly global and low-cost IoT solution. We can help our customers answer questions like, where is my asset? What is the temperature, the pressure, the speed of my asset? What is the humidity level in the soil? What is the salinity of the water? How much gas or water is left in the tank? If they have a sensor, we have a way to transport their data from the sensor in the field to their computer. So how do you connect assets to our network? It is simple. You need a small modem such as this one that we provide as a product. It's not only very cost effective, but it is also ultra low power, which is ideal for battery powered applications. Now, how does this modem communicate with our satellites? Well, the Astrocast network relies on the most reliable and efficient spectrum available, which is called the L-band. It's the same spectrum used by the GPS system that you have in your phone. It allows us to design a very small and inexpensive antenna, like this one. And this is so essential for our customers as they integrate both the modem and the antenna into their products. It took us more than 5 years of groundbreaking technological developments and 4 successful rocket launches to build the foundation of the scalable satellite network. These satellites are fully designed and assembled in-house, and we operate them from our mission control center here in Switzerland as well. The first 10 satellites of our network have now been successfully deployed in orbit. They have been tested extensively, and they are performing very well. Many customers have tested our network, our products, our antennas, and they confirm that we are outperforming competition on power consumption, antenna size, and cost. Both our hardware products and our data services are really affordable. Now, the unique performance of our technologies attracted key players such as Airbus Defence and Space, Thuraya, Palantir, as well as the European Space Agency, who are all supporting us in the deployment of our global network. The unique features of our system will allow us to disrupt the fast-growing satellite IoT market with a leading integrated solution. Our market is huge and quite fragmented. There are many opportunities in the maritime and shipping industry, in the oil and gas sector, in the agriculture and livestock industry. We are also able to support many environmental applications like wildlife tracking, wildfire detection, monitoring of the climate and the oceans, etc. Every month we discover new applications, new business cases that we can support. And what a great satisfaction it is for us to see major customers progressively starting to expand their IoT strategies and envisioning new business cases based on this new infrastructure that we have created. Going forward, the growth opportunities in the markets we are targeting are significant, and we're very well positioned to capture these opportunities. We have set bold objectives, we have created a strong culture of support and innovation within our organization, and we're ready to expand our reach. As engraved on one of our satellites, space has no limit.
All right, so clearly I couldn't have done a better a better walkthrough myself, even though I tried at the beginning. But this really gives you a good idea of what Astrocast does, and you know you can try to start putting the synergies together with Palantir and the service offerings that it has, the clients that it has. You know, whether it's military, whether it's charitable work where they're trying to move food around. Whether it's mining, the big mining companies like Rio Tinto or big oil and gas companies. So there's a lot of opportunities here for synergy with Astrocast, and I think that is one of the main reasons that Palantir got involved, and also because it's the unique niche market. Trying to put 100 satellites up around the Earth to be able to offer remote communities, remote assets, remote businesses, connectivity. That's that's a great thing for the world, for those people who are deprived of some form of connectivity. This is not a Facebook or Instagram. It's not steady streaming of data. It's really just messages passing between an asset and the receiving side. So if a remote community says they're running out of water or the water wells are going down and the sensor triggers that output, then someone on the other side who delivers water, whether if it's a government organization, they'll know, okay, we need to send a water truck to this area so that the community can have access to clean water. So I think it's a great business or a great cause. Now let's get into the details on what I've uncovered so far. So Astrocast, they're actually publicly traded on the Oslo Stock Exchange. For the exchange is the Euronext growth market. So I feel like it's a entry market, so there's a lot less regulations for them. The company's headquartered in Lausanne, Switzerland. Alex Karp also has a home in Switzerland. The company was founded in 2014, and in 7 years, they already got 10 satellites up. They make satellites in-house, and it's a tight operation of about 70 employees, which is, very, very telling that, they're very cost efficient and they're very ambitious and they're getting things done. Like when you say putting satellites in the sky, it sounds kind of crazy to me, but they've launched 10 satellites through SpaceX, and now those satellites are orbiting around the Earth. So what's the company vision? We believe in a connected world where Internet of Things is global and benefits all. How will they change the world? We track assets, monitor the environment, and save lives by building and operating the most advanced and sustainable satellite Internet of Things network. I really, really appreciate this, because I did read an article on how they're partnering with a local charity to offer this service to communities that do not have water, or do not have access to clean water. And now by offering the service, they're giving 5% of a country access to clean water, which is pretty amazing, because regardless of skin color, religion, if you don't have water, you're a dead man in 7 days. So it's pretty amazing. Now the critics, I did read an article on Flowbank. I'll put a link to that article in the description of the video, where they say, Astrocast is not the only ones trying to service this niche market. There's about 15 to 20 competitors who are aiming to do the same thing, of which 5 are serious. So 5 are already in the business. According to Flowbank, the industry is worth about 600 million, or a bit more than $500 million, estimated in 2025. But the thing is that they're talking about a direct satellite business, but they're not considering the synergies. Like, okay, well, what if it has military purposes? What if it has business purposes? What if it has, there's a lot of lot of ways that this can be used. So maybe this market might be understated, but for now, let's assume it's $0.6 billion. Now, I went through the financials. I took the screenshot here, their first financials ever since going public. The takeaway is that they have about 1 million in cash, 21 million in total assets, 24 million in liabilities. So they have more liabilities than assets. If we take a look here, let's try to see if we can scan quickly to see what it is. Okay, well, trade AP is at 9, short-term interest-bearing liabilities. So they actually have debts, 13. So just on a short-term basis. So this does not look good because they have 23 million in short-term debts. So if push comes to shove and they're forced to liquidate, then they don't have enough assets to cover their debts, which is not good. But I'm pretty sure that if they want to raise funds, they can easily raise funds because the company is doing well. They're actually doing what they said they would do. They have 10 satellites in the air, and now they have revenues of 1 million, which is from meeting one milestone with one client where they paid them close to 800,000 US or 800,000 Swiss franc. Their operating income, they're actually in a loss position of 6 million. Net income in a loss position. How much did Palantir invest? 5 million. This is absolute peanuts. But given the size, the market of the company, the total addressable market, 5 million seems to be a decent range. What I found interesting is that not only is Palantir invested, but also Airbus. So Palantir and Airbus are very close. They're making investments together. Now, how can Palantir profit? Obviously, Palantir can profit from the equity stake. Based on my last observation, Astrocast was trading at 542. The share value was $3. So Palantir has an unrealized gain of 3 million, which is great. So that's one way Palantir is profiting right now from the equity stake that they have. And they're offering foundry services. And there are synergy opportunities between Astrocast, Black Sky, and also Palantir's other projects. And maybe Palantir can even make pitches to other clients on behalf of Astrocast and be able to extend Foundry to those offerings. So it would be the satellite, Foundry, and whatever the client needs. So there's a whole web of opportunities here that I really like, especially given the scale of the investment. Only 5 million. It's negligible compared to Palantir's $2 billion cash position. So Palantir has what, 100x? No, not 100x, like more than 400x this investment sitting on their balance sheet. So I'm not too stressed. So I was able to find a bit of details as to what the deal is between Astrocast and Palantir, but there's no numbers. And that's what really is aggravating, is that it's hard to find the numbers. Here we see that Palantir Technologies, an American software company specializing in big analytics. Astrocast and Palantir have signed a commercial agreement which enables Astrocast to add data analytics to its offerings. Palantir Foundry software will be used to optimize internal functions and business processes, as well as be offered to Astrocast's customers. That's interesting. So they can take advantage of the robust software analytics and decision support that Foundry provides. The contract runs for 5 years and includes a step-up payment schedule. No details as to what these payments are. Now, let's go through some of the things that I have found on Astrocast. This is their investor relations. Not much here that I haven't covered. What keeps us moving? Same thing. Not much here. This is the video that we just watched. This is their, first half of 2021 news. I think it's important to reiterate how much they've done. They had a successful launch of 10 satellites. They already started shipping their commercial development kits. So these are kits that they're sending to people to allow them, or sending to people or businesses to allow them to develop a business out of the satellites and what they want to offer, and then sell that to different businesses. So it's like they're encouraging entrepreneurship in a way. They're And then they also start 14 customer integration projects using the first 5 satellites. Financial highlights: raised 8.2 million that from debt. Okay, so that has been converted into shares. So debt that became shares, 8.2 million. As of June 30th, 2021, Astrocast has a net position of 1.3 million. Okay, so I lied before when I said the first half was as of September 30th. It's actually, this was released as of September 30th, but the first half is the calendar first half, so it's June 30th. Let's see if I can actually go through some of the use cases that we saw. So here they talk about environmental use case. So this is where they talk about from weather stations to groundwater monitoring, and even seismology measuring and monitoring our environment can take us to regions where there's little to no connectivity. Astrocast brings natural resource management to your desktop. Astrocast allows your sensors and stations to send the data you need from valleys, mountains, streams, and forests, so you can make the decisions to save the world. That's great. Another one is mining and oil and gas. In the world of mining, monitoring and maintenance is critical. Maintaining your commercial and industrial assets, environmental standards, and the safety of miners in remote locations presents a unique challenge. The Astrocast network on the ground and in the sky, you can optimize operations by remotely measuring and managing everything from fueling schedules to machinery inventory and maintenance, and even monitoring environmental requirements. Now, connected vehicles, keeping track from the sky. When it comes to transportation of any sort, safety is paramount. Astrocast lets you know where and what happened to your vehicles. With Astrocast, you can get your information necessary to make decisions. When did an airbag deploy? When did the refrigerator truck run out of fuel? What is a rail car's most recent coordinates? Astrocast allows you to cost-effectively receive the information you need back at headquarters, and in some cases, even send a simple reset command back to get things moving again. So this is a great case. Another use case is for monitoring crops and livestock. I think this is interesting because this type of business usually happens way out of the urban centers. So agriculture infrastructure is also critical to the success of any operation. Tracking beehives, knowing silo capacity, receiving data from agtech drones and robots, and monitoring smart irrigation and soil moisture levels allows you to optimize your entire business. You need the ability to maintain these assets from anywhere. Astrocast wrangles up your assets, brings inexpensive two-way communications to your most critical farming assets. So this was the article I was talking about earlier that I found, very positive. And this is how they're bringing about change in the world in a good way. So here, they talk about how they're offering water to remote communities. And they say here, using Astrocast IoT connected solution, the Access to Water Foundation can deploy its water treatment points anywhere and contributes to the effective fight against diseases related to dirty or polluted water, including in remote and rural areas not covered by local telecom networks. This is very, very positive news for me. I really like this investment. Just with one customer, they generated about 1 million in cash. So one major customer. So I think this is very positive. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this develops for Palantir in the future, and seeing all the synergies that Palantir and Astrocast can bring to other customers. So going back to how I evaluate if this is a win or loss, this Astrocast investment, is it good for the world? Yes, it is. Is it profitable today? Not yet. Risk versus reward, is it worth investing? Yes, it is. It was a $5 million investment, but the opportunities are so immense. This company management team is very competent. They show their ability to execute, to get things done. They already have 10 satellites up in the sky, and they already landed an $800,000 revenue for the year, for half the year. So that's pretty incredible. So I think this is a win for Palantir. And I'm actually very excited to see how it pans out for Palantir over the years. I'm pretty sure that this is going to have a lot of positive impacts. So this is an investment that I can really get behind, as opposed to my last one. I did do one on Faraday Future and Cellularity. I'll put the links to that. Now, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to look into Black Sky. I think the timing is perfect. They both go together very well, is what I'm assuming. So my next video is going to be on Black Sky. So make sure you subscribe so you can follow up. and learn more about Black Sky and all the other investments that I'm going to go through. So thank you. Let's stay in touch.